Hello and welcome to Knowledge Trains. Alright, so I still remember that year 2007 I was using Exchange Server 2007, and then what happened was that I was not able to actually access my emails and my Outlook was saying disconnected. So what happened at that time was the first thing that I did was that I had to go and do some troubleshooting and make sure that I have the right connection with my Exchange server and domain controller, and everything was actually fine. And then what happened at the end is that I found out that Exchange Information Store service was stopped. That's why the Exchange server was not functioning. So Windows services are a special type of application that is configured to launch and run in the background. So basically, anytime you run an application or you use any applications like Exchange server or any other server, most of the time the servers that run in a network, they basically use Windows services. So basically, you're using Windows services when you run those applications and they run in background, and that is how you are actually using those applications. So in some cases, before even the user have been logged on, those services are going to be running, because for example, most of the Windows services needs to run before you actually log into your operating system, because if those services did not run, what is going to happen is that you may not be able to log into your operating system. So Windows services are really important part of operating system. Back in Windows XP days, services could be configured to run interactively and run alongside the rest of your application. But for example, in the we are talking about end users here, client operating system here. Like when Vista came up, all services were forced to run in a special window session that can't interact with your local desktop. So a service that tries to open a dialog box or show you a message won't be allowed to do so. So that was one of the things that they came up with Windows Vista and going forward with other operating systems. So if I want to access Windows Server services, how can I do that? I can do it through different ways. You can click on Start and then you can type Services. What will happen is it will bring up this Services desktop app. You can click here, or if you do not want to do that, you can simply click on Start and you can go to Admin Tools, and from this Admin Tools you can click on Services, or you can right click on your taskbar, Task Manager, and from Task Manager you can see all the services running or stopped at the moment. So Windows Server services, like whenever you install your operating system, most of the services will actually be there already for you. So all these that you see here, most of them are Windows server services. For example, DHCP client. If I stop this service, and this server will not be able to obtain IP address from the DHCP server that you may have in your network. If I go down, and you can see that I have a lot of other services in here, like Hyper-V services for virtualization. I have IP helper. I have for example, SSH authentication, print spooler. If I turn this off, I will have printing problems. I might not be able to do the printing from this server. And if I go down, you can see that I have a lot of other services here too. If I turn off this Windows Defender firewall, no security in my system, and it will turn off the firewall. If I turn off Windows Event Log, it will turn off the event logs, then it will not log any events. So that is another thing. And you have Windows time. If I turn this off, what will happen is that the Windows will not be able to update the time if you have set it up automatically. So these are really important parts to understand. Most of the times when your application is not working, it could be because one of the services that relates to that application is stopped and no longer responding. So this was just the basic concept, and in our next video we will see how can we work with services in real life and how can we start, stop, and troubleshoot them.